Find a woman like Penelope who will wait for you. Now, I've seen the movie Odyssey from Christopher Nolan, and I was deeply inspired by it. And we all know the Queen of Ithaca, Penelope, waiting 20 years for Odyssey to return to his kingdom. And there were a lot of potential suitors for her, and she didn't take any of them because simply Odyssey was irreplaceable for her. And for Penelope, he was the best man that she can find. And for a woman, if woman deems one person to be her best man, then no other man can replace in her life. And she'll wait 20 years for him to return or more. Now, I'm going to use this story as an analogy of the things that you need to overcome and the challenges that you need to overcome to able to achieve and find a woman like Penelope. Got it? So I'll talk about the challenges to overcome and the challenges that Odyssey faced and what kind of challenges you have to overcome within your life. First thing that I want to talk about is Calypso's Island. Now, from the beginning of the movie of Odyssey, Odyssey was captured on the island of Calypso. And Calypso feeds Odyssey with the lotus, and lotus symbolizes the forgetfulness and the complacency. And why is this dangerous for many men? Is because if you get complacent within your life, for example, you get married or you get into the long-term relationship, 3, 4, 5 years, you can actually forget who you were. And you can actually forget who you were as a king of the relationship and why she was attracted to you from the beginning. Now, if you forget what made you attractive from the beginning, then your relationship is bound to fail. In relationships, we start with the attraction, okay? And then we get to the maintenance phase, okay? Maintenance. We do the attraction and we have sex, and then we get into the maintenance phase. In this attraction, sex, and maintenance, you can see that the attraction is the base of the relationship. Attraction must be maintained for the maintenance phase to work. To be able to have a long-term relationship, you have to maintain the attraction. And to be able to maintain the attraction, you must not forget who you are. You must not forget what made you attractive. Do not get complacent. Please do not. Or else, woman will find you not attractive anymore, and she will leave you. So therefore, how Odyssey overcome the challenge was him remembering that he is a king. And he grew from it. Okay? He went out to the sea without anything. Okay? Without any crew members. He was just alone. He just went out there, leaving himself to the flow of the sea. You must not forget who you are and do not get complacent. Okay? Second, it's Circe's Island. The challenge of Circe's Island. And by the way, before I talk about this Circe's Island, I just picked some of the challenges. There are more challenges, but these are my favorite ones, and these are the things that I can actually give a very good analogy to. So, Circe's Island we see that crew members turned into pig. Okay? In the movie, the crew members went to the Cersei's house. They didn't know that she was a witch, right? And that witch was offering the food to the members, the crew members, and the crew were very happy to eat. But when they began to eat, they slowly turned into pigs by Cersei touching them, right? This pig symbolizes the lower desires. The sex, eating, sleeping, etc., our lower desires, our lower selves. Got it? And this is also symbolizing the temptation. Crew members turned into pigs because their lower desires and the temptation overcomes them. The temptation was too big because they were in a state of being in a hunger. In a state of hunger. They were very, very hungry after a long travel, right? And if you're very hungry and if you see a food in front of you, of course you're gonna give in to the temptation. But Odyssey didn't. And Odyssey overcome the lower desires by using his wisdom and his awareness to able to detect that she is a witch. Okay? Now, to able to overcome the lower desires and the temptation, you always have to have the unbreakable standards above the desires. Do not let your desires overcome your unbreakable standards. It is okay to have sex. It is okay to eat. Okay? It is okay to sleep. But do not give in to the temptation while completely destroying your standards. Okay? Placating to her. Trying not to make her mad. Destroying your standards to able to get some pussy. Those are not good. It is not good practices. Okay? Do not break your own standards to able to achieve the lower desires and give in to the temptation. Got it? By the way, if you are an entrepreneur, high-performing man, or an executive who is struggling to have a long-term relationship, even though you can have sex within your life, right? Link is in the description. I highly recommend it. Because there are a lot of high-performing men who actually can have sex, but they can't seem to have long-term relationships. So I'll help you out with this. Thank you. So overcome the Cersei's Island, the temptation of lower desires by having a strong standard, the masculine frame. My definition of long-term relationship goes: attracting and finding the right woman who has the ability to enter into your masculine frame, thus cultivating genuine burning desire and maintain the long-term satisfying relationship. To able to maintain the strong masculine frame, you must not give in to your lower desires. Do not put sex above your standards. Never. Never do that. Third, Scylla and Charybdis. Now, in this place, there were six-headed monster or deadly whirlpool. When Odyssey saw that there was a deadly whirlpool, or go to the path of six-headed monster, he could not go by the whirlpool because everyone would die. Everyone, including himself. And six-headed monster was the only choice that he could make because it was the only path that he can take. It could be everyone dying or some of them dying. And some of them died while going through that path. And they were sacrificed. And this symbolizes the inevitability of choices that you have to make to be able to achieve the things that you want, to able to grow, to able to go to the vision that you have set for yourself. How do you overcome this challenge of picking six-headed monster or deadly whirlpool? Is to become decisive. If you have to make a certain decision, you have to be decisive with a certain amount of wisdom and awareness. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your current state, the current relationship, to able to achieve the relationship that you actually want. So there are a lot of men that are in the unsatisfying relationship, and they are inside that relationship even though they're unsatisfied because they do not have woman in their lives. Okay? And if you get complacent of having frequent sex and do not try to grow within your life, then your relationship is bound to become unsatisfying. And when it becomes unsatisfying, you have to make a choice. You have to break up that relationship. Truly. You have to sacrifice your current unsatisfying relationship and then make a conscious choice to able to achieve the relationship that you truly, truly want. Ask yourself, what kind of relationship do you truly want? Do you want the type of relationship that, where woman is constantly nagging you? Do you want the relationship where woman is constantly shouting at you, being mad at you, constantly breaking your rules and standards, and constantly going out to a girls' night parties? What do you think? What kind of relationship do you want? Truly. It is very, very important to think about this. You have to know how to sacrifice your current unsatisfying relationship to able to achieve the relationship that you truly want. You have to sacrifice your lower self to have the higher self. So, to able to find a woman like Penelope who will wait for you, you have to learn how to overcome these challenges. Do not forget that you're a king. Do not placate to her. And do not placate to sex. And do not give in to the temptation. Do not break your own iron rule, the standards that you have set for yourself. If she breaks your rule or standards, be sure to cut her off from your life. And if you have the inevitable sacrifice, if you have to do the inevitability, then be decisive and choose it wisely. So, yep, Thank you very much.